Hello and welcome to We Random, episode 41, recording on June 1st, 2021. Happy Pride, everybody. I just wanted to let you know, B, that I got on Amazon earlier today and I ordered a chicken and an egg. I'll let you know what I find out. No, nothing?
Shouldn't it be, I'll let you know which one comes first?
You have to assume part of it. Jesus Christ, we'll be back after this.
Almost Qualified Productions.
Let's get crazy!
Experts don't have this much fun.
Welcome to We Random. I'm Brian. That's Christopher. It's Tuesday.
Whoa.
Say hello to the people, Christopher.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
We are now on our summer schedule. You can see me on the YouTube wearing my nice little polo shirt. It's polo season. Really, it should be, like just random t-shirt season.
I would agree with that.
I decided to dress up for the first episode on Tuesday. So that's how I roll. How's everybody else doing out there? How are you doing, Skonzii? What's the good word here?
I'm doing good. It's weird because this Tuesday feels a lot like a Monday, but
It
you know
does.
what?
It's like Mega Monday.
Yeah, but we're doing all right. We're still here. That's what matters, right?
It's true. We have our wonderful Wheel of Doom. We have 2 weeks worth of topics to bring to you, and then we'll give you all the thoughts that we have, and we'll leave you with a little bit of a gas up, and maybe even do a random rankings. We'll see. Who knows? It's We Random, everybody.
I forgot I was supposed to come up with something for random rankings. I'll come up with
Well, if
something.
we don't,
I'll be
then
ready.
we don't. It's fine.
I'll be ready.
But any other thoughts, concerns, questions, issues, or other things for these wonderful people who are the patrons of our show before we get started?
No, I think we should just spin this thing and go for it.
Let's do it.
Except I'm not ready to spin it. No, I'm ready. We've got appraisal discrimination, which is interesting because I'm getting an appraisal on a house, which I don't fall into this category exactly, but what's this all about, B?
Oh, all right. So, Carlette Duffy in Indiana wanted to refinance her house and sought an appraisal. After receiving 2 appraisals that Duffy thought were low, she sought out a third company to provide an appraisal, but there was a twist. Duffy, who is black, had a white male friend stand in for the appraisal day. Duffy's previous appraisals, $125,000 and $110,000, all of a sudden doubled to $259,000 of value. Duffy, along with the Fair Housing Center of Central Indiana, have filed for complaint against the mortgage lenders and appraisers that they are accusing of undervaluing the home because of Duffy's race. So there was an individual, Andre Perry, who has conducted research on how racial bias distorts the housing market and compared home prices in neighborhoods where the share of the black population is greater than 50%. And basically, what Perry found is even after controlling for crime and walkability and other factors that generally impact home prices, homes in black neighborhoods tend to be underpriced by about 23% or about $48,000 per home. So, Christopher, as someone who's getting an appraisal soon, how does this shady business make you feel?
Well, I hope that this might make me sound like an asshole, but hopefully I benefit from that and my appraisal turns out good, because if my appraisal comes in too low, I'm probably going to lose this house that I'd really like to have.
So what you're saying is you're not going to send me to stand in for you?
No, I think that's probably a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, this is, when I read this, I was A, not shocked, but B, I was appalled, right? Like this is similar to the stuff that we talk about pretty regularly, right? Where there's just an implicit bias so much in so many of the things that we see day to day, and we hear about, and we've talked about the really big glaring stuff that's top of mind, that's top of the news right now, right? Which is the way the police handle things, and crime and all that kind of stuff. Those are the things that stand out, really readily. But I think that to me, this is a really good reminder that there are a whole lot of different ways that this impacts people, the way that the implicit bias does, and the way that racism does, and the way that the systematic racism is impacting people. There's a lot more ways that it impacts people than just you're going to get arrested more, you're going to get beat up more, you're going to get killed by the cops more.
Right. It's all of these systems that have come together to propagate the society that we have now. That's really what it all comes down to. And these are not necessarily things that people think about on a day-to-day basis, but it's really like peeling an onion. It's like every layer that you expose more and more and more. And for a lot of people, that's scary, but we have to expose these layers to deal with them. Or we can just stick our heads in the sand and not, because that's also what people like to do.
Yeah. So Wiggum says, I assume that there was a third appraisal done to make sure that the what the issue was and that the first two weren't, or whatever the case may be. I think that's a good point. I don't know that they did that. I think that, and maybe if they did it, maybe it didn't work out the way they wanted. Maybe it didn't show up in the report. I don't know. I think B looks like he's scanning it to see if there's a third one done. I don't know that there was.
No, this was the third one that was done.
Oh, this was the third one.
So what happened was on this attempt, the lady basically hid her cultural identity from the appraiser. She took down anything that would indicate immediately that she was Black. She did not tell them. She only communicated with them via email. She did not use like calling or anything like that. So she wanted to really test if this was based on her race or not. So, it's interesting. Like there's obviously some wiggle room in here for some variability based on how the market is just going nuts right now.
Right.
But I think that there's still a lot of challenge, because there were different comps that she saw from these other two companies where she's like, well, why doesn't my house meet this? And they're like, oh, well, it's not. And like it was just it felt very shady. At least that's how it was described.
So she had two appraisals. They were both low. They got a third one and it was high. Is that right? Okay. Yeah, I agree with Wiggum. I think it would make sense to do a second one with the premise of the third one that she did, right? So hide her cultural identity, have some white guy stand in for her. I think it would have made sense to do that one. And yeah, to your point, that way that it wasn't just one appraiser who was hopped up on something when he stopped in, and actually there may be a racial or cultural issue there. So that makes sense. I think that would have been more of a scientific.
So to have 2 and 2.
Yeah. So because appraisers, it's not like it's an exact science, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some science pieces to it, and there's education, and there's history, and there's experience, and all of that's going to play a role. But I would wager if you had a house and you had 10 different appraisers line up, you're probably going to get 6 or 7 different appraisal values, right? Just because there's going to be some variability there. So yeah, I mean, that's a huge swing. So like somebody is really whacked out if there's that big of a difference. But if you're going to try to make this as more scientific, I think that would have made sense to do a fourth one and follow the same tenets as that third one with, the white person standing in, etc. But I think either way, it's still a kind of a wake up call for all the different areas where race can and does, impact things.
Agreed.
All right, I'm spinning, B.
All right.
I noticed you put
How
some.
angry are you going to get?
I noticed you put some of the new stuff in the thing, but I don't have them in here because I had this all set up beforehand. So
okay, that's good. That's fine.
We're going to go for a road trip, and we're going to do a bunch of drugs, and then we're going to get caught, and they're going to do a test. Maybe, I don't know. What is roadside drug testing?
Oh, this is not. So this is no laughing matter, but it points out something that is happening to people on, I don't want to say a daily basis, but it happens. So, Dartavius Barnes sat handcuffed inside a squad car in Springfield, Illinois, being confused as police told him they'd found a container in the center console of his car that tested positive for meth or ecstasy. That container Barnes told the officer, was a small urn storing the ashes of his 2-year-old daughter, not an illegal substance. Barnes has filed a federal lawsuit alleging that the officers unlawfully took the sealed urn containing his daughter's remains, opened it without his consent, and spilled some of the ashes while testing for drugs. The incident is one in the latest of a series of incidents that illustrates the risk of false positives in field testing drug kits used by police. In recent years, they have incorrectly detected drugs in objects including chocolate chip cookies, deodorant, breath mints, and tortilla dough. In fact, in 2018, a Tampa Bay mother spent 5 months in jail after her vitamins falsely tested positive for oxycodone. So there's a couple different things here. And for those of you who are watching it, will go, well, what did he do wrong? He had marijuana in his car and they stopped him and he admitted that he had marijuana. So they were like, well, we're going to search your car. And that's how all of this
Well, they stopped him because
started.
he ran a stop sign or something, some small traffic
Speeding
thing.
or, yeah.
Yeah, and it's I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate to a degree because I don't know that we've got authentication on this is what happened or not, right? Like, I really want to make a joke about his 2-year-old doing heroin or whatever it was, but I'm the only one that would laugh at that. But let's say that he did have some sort of horrible drug like that. Now he says that this container that his daughter was in was a sealed container. Was it? Did he say, oh, hey, here's a place I could hide drugs? I don't know, maybe. But I think the bigger issue here is, I mean, that's a huge issue to begin with. I think the bigger issue is that we had the kid up in, was it Minnesota, where they pulled him over because he had fuzzy dice in the mirror or something stupid like that, and he ended up getting shot. Like, this is the problem, is it's a black guy who they stopped him for some kind of traffic thing, and they decided, we're going to make sure we check every inch of this car so we can find something that's wrong. Like, that's the situation. That's what happened here. I guarantee it. And whether they went into a container and they shouldn't have, whether they found something there or not, whether the test is causing false positives, I think the bigger issue is the fact that they are using these traffic stops as a means to do these extensive searches. That's the bigger issue in my mind.
I mean, it is, but that's where the layers of issues come in, because the false positives is also an issue, right? Because it's like, if you know that this isn't a reputable test to whatever degree, like, you're basically putting yourself in a situation, and again, maybe this is the situation that they want, but you're putting yourself in a situation where it's like, well, we're going to test this, and if it comes back as a false positive, great. Now we can take you down to the station and see what else we can put on you, right?
Okay, but here, let me play devil's advocate. Let's say that in the direction that you seem to be leaning, this test isn't it's not accurate enough. We can't use it, right? Mm-hmm. So then what are we going to do? Well, we think that you've got drugs in here. We can't test for it, so we're going to arrest you and take you down to the station, and then we're going to test it the way that we can test it, right? So either way, they're going down to the station, right? So you're not stopping anything there. Now, don't get me wrong. If the test is causing issues where it's kicking back a bunch of false positives, that is a problem. But I think the solution to that is you have to create a better test, or you have to find out another way to do that, because you can't just say, okay, we'll throw these out. Now what do we do? Because there are legitimate people who are running around with fucking drugs in their car, and you have to be able to handle that too.
Right. Well, and that's the delicate balance here, is that a lot of times folks are casting a wide net to try to catch a few fish.
Sure.
And when you cast that wide net, sometimes you catch the wrong thing. But again, part of that is, how are you casting that net? What are you doing? How, right? Like, what did he, that, and these are all the variables that we don't know. Because when every single person who gets pulled over for speeding, do they go, hey, I need you to get out your car so I can completely search your car? Like these
Never
are all
happened
the
to
things
me.
these are all the things that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the, I don't want to say systemic, but that's part of the training and issue, that we just don't have that information. But I think that's an important part of this, because if he's getting pulled out of his car, what was the rationale for him to get pulled out of his car versus, for example, for you to get pulled out of your
Well,
car?
and Wiggum brought up another point that it mentions in the article, which is he admitted to the cops that he had marijuana in his car.
Right.
Like that's the catalyst right there. You're telling me there are drugs in this car. We're going to pull you out and we're going to search your car. Like automatically that's what's going to happen, right? Now, again, did they go into some container that was closed that they probably shouldn't have gone into? I don't know. Could they have let's just assume that it wasn't a sealed container. They still could have asked the damn question, hey, there's a weird container here. What is that, right? You could have asked a question. And maybe they're just most likely what they're going to do is just assume that he's fucking lying to him anyway. Oh, yeah, sure. It's your 2-year-old daughter. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of things here that that could be an issue that are an issue, but I don't know that I'm super concerned about the drug thing, the test thing. I think that it's something that they need to improve on, but it's hard to say that it's, that's the crux of the issue. And again, Wiggum said something similar to me is, if you find something that tests positive, go and test it in a real lab. Now, here's the problem is now you've got somebody who, let's say in this stop, let's say he didn't have the marijuana. Let's say they busted into his daughter's thing and didn't find anything. What do? Let him go? Now he's still pissed off, right? Because you broke into my thing. You shouldn't have been there. But he's moving on. Whereas, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. But the point is if you find that it tested positive, take it in and test it in the real lab. Now you're dealing with the fact that you've got somebody like, are they just going to let him go? Hey, we think that we found drugs because it tested positive. No, they're going to have to hold him. So now they're holding this guy for how long does it take to run an actual drug test?
Right.
A couple days, a couple weeks?
Well, and that's the challenge, right? Because it's like it's a weird, and I don't know what the answer is to this, but I think that's why the testing part of it is, if that's something that can be improved, that would be
absolutely
a significant improvement, because then because you don't want to just let people go if they're doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But if you're basically bringing people in when they didn't do anything, or like holding them for 24, 48, 72 hours under the suspicion that they have drugs, like that's not great either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's definitely some stuff that can be done there to make things run a little bit smoother. The easiest, obviously, is improve the tests so that they come up better. But I also wonder how inaccurate these tests are. And I don't know, I didn't see it in the article, but they listed like 4 examples. Right. Well, I'm pretty sure that test gets given like a multitude of 10,000 times more than that every day. So if all they can now, obviously they're not going to list 10,000 examples in the article, but if it's exactly, is this just 1 or 2 examples that happen to come up, or is this an issue that's much, much larger? Right. If it's closer to the latter, then you need to kick it in the ass and start working to fix something.
Right.
Ready to move on, B? You seem like you're ready to move on.
Sure.
All right, we're spinning. Yeah, I didn't get mad. You almost got mad because I talked about the 2-year-old doing heroin. I wasn't going to say it, chat. But that would explain why never mind. So how about hate in Wisconsin, B? This one will get you angry. We're going to hear you drop some F-bombs, I think.
No, I've accepted this. So, a picture of hate in Wisconsin has emerged after a Madison News 3 investigation spent weeks analyzing hate crime police reports that reported a biased motivation to the Wisconsin Department of Justice from 2018 through 2020. Anti-Black crime spiked last year as protests against police violence spread across Wisconsin, and reported hate overall rose by about 75%. What's known through police reports represents an actual fraction of crimes, though, as they often go unreported or under-investigated. Just 101 out of the state's 478 law enforcement agencies have officially reported at least one hate crime in the last 5 years. So basically, what we're looking at here is that while there's kind of this anecdotal thing saying that like hate crime is rising, there's also this kind of ebb and flow that a lot of these crimes either don't get reported or they get kind of pushed off or laughed off by those investigating officers, or they don't get classified as a hate crime. So I just thought that this was interesting because like people just want to deny what's going on. And like, so for example, even like on Twitter today, I saw somebody be like, oh, all these people are mad that, somebody threw popcorn at Russell Westbrook or somebody threw a bottle at Kyrie Irving, but nobody's mad that people were throwing bottles and rocks at the officers, right? Like, like we're looking at things in this like little bitty vacuum, and I wanted to be like, yes, you know what people should be mad about? The fact that you were trapping officers in a door on January 6th. If we're going to be mad about one little thing, we need to be mad about lots of things. We have to stop looking at things from this little like narrow, I'm only going to look at it from this is the only thing that I want to see. I don't want to see anything else. I only want to see this, right? And that's what we do as a society, because we are a society where people just want to win. And I'm going to stop being angry now.
I knew you were going to get angry. First of all, I do want to say, chat, that when B told me you wanted to respond to that person, I told him you absolutely need to do it. Obviously, you didn't listen to me. Two,
I had to work today.
I just want to, what that guy should be pissed off about is that for 5 months, he's been screaming at the top of his lungs to all of us that it was fucking Antifa that was attacking the Capitol. And now his legislators don't want to create a group, a committee to investigate it. He should be really pissed, except he knew all along that it wasn't Antifa. It doesn't really exist. Anyway, what were we even talking about? We were talking about hate in Wisconsin. So, yeah, I felt like this was an article that meant to drop a bombshell, but there wasn't a bombshell, or it was a bombshell without the bomb, right?
Where's the kaboom?
Yeah, I just didn't really feel that.
And I think it's like a multi-episode article,
yeah,
and
that's
like
what they said.
I haven't
it's like 5 parts or something. So maybe they'll get to the kaboom later. I don't know, but I think the thing that I take away from this is the first thing I thought of, and keep in mind that I've got friends who are cops, but like we all know that there's a lot of bad apples in the police force. And like it's I don't want to use the word easy because I don't know that that's quite the right word, but I'm going to use that word anyway. It's a whole lot easier to investigate a crime as a hate crime when there are 4 cops and one of them has his knee on someone's neck and there's like 7 people recording it on their phone. Like, that you have to, I don't know if that was listed as a hate crime or not, but you follow me, right? It's like when it's something like that, it's easy to follow. But when you're up in bumfuck Wisconsin, where there's 3 cops and 1 traffic light that doesn't work half the time, and the city's got 12 people in it, nobody's looking over your shoulder. Nobody's watching to see if Deputy Fife is going to investigate this as a hate crime, when it just so happened that the one black person that lives in town got beat up after he was dating a white woman, or whatever stupid example, right?
Like nobody, they didn't mean it that way, right?
They were just beating him up because they wanted to do X, Y, and Z. It had nothing to do with bullshit. So I think that's that's the thing that really stuck out to me more than anything is I'm not surprised that things are underreported as hate crimes, because a lot of the people that would be responsible for investigating that are the people who don't want to investigate that. And let's be honest, a lot of them would be closer to the people who are perpetrating the hate crime than the people who are fighting against it. I mean, I wouldn't say a majority, but a lot of them for sure.
Well, and this goes across all of the different lines. So we're talking racial, socioeconomic, we're talking sexual and gender orientation. Like all of these things are, for example, hate against the LGBTQ community has skyrocketed too. Like we're seeing it this month. Like there's so many people who are like so like in their feelings about it, and it's like these things that people are saying right now might not necessarily be hate crimes, but when people take it to that next level and that next level and that next level, those might be. But then are people actually going to investigate those in that way, or it's going to say, oh, they were just having a bad day?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to keep tabs on this as as it progresses, as they go through this story that they're putting together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see the big wow, this is earth shattering. To me, it just reinforced my beliefs on where we live, man. Like, this is a very, very red state. This is a very, very polarized state. This is a very, very prejudiced state. I mean, I've seen it reported, and I don't have the proof of it, but I'm sure if you search for it, you'll find it anyway. I believe Milwaukee is the most segregated big city in the country. Like,
yeah, it's like them in Baltimore, basically.
This is where we live. This is where we live. So I'm not at all surprised by this.
Right. Same.
Yeah.
But again, this is just trying to point these things out that they exist, because there's so many people who just want to look through their little eye scope where they go, I only see this. I only see this one thing. I don't see anything else but this.
Yep. All right, I'm moving on. Let's not hate people, B. Except maybe this person.
It's gonna be hard with this wheel, right?
Oh, hey, it's the Wisconsin GOP. We can hate them.
Well, speaking of the Wisconsin GOP, Wisconsin Republicans want to end the $300 per week federal unemployment supplement, which they said hurts businesses that are struggling to fill vacancies as customers return amid a loosening of coronavirus restrictions. Friend of the show, totally not, Robin Voss, said businesses were not just competing with one another, but they are competing with, quote, the couch, because the higher unemployment benefits make people unmotivated to find a job. Some statistics for you. The Wisconsin Job Center shows Wisconsin employers are looking to fill 107,000 jobs with about 90,000 people looking for work. Now, on the flip side of that, labor experts are saying that the labor shortage is not just about the $300 payment. Some unemployed people have been reluctant to return to work because they fear catching the virus, they have childcare responsibilities, or they have found new occupations. Generally speaking, the state's minimum unemployment benefit is $370 per week. The federal add-on brings the total to $670 per week before taxes are taken out. Now, other people are saying that if you are raising children and you're only bringing in $400 to $500 after these taxes, that's going to be $2,000 a month. Once you take away all of your basic needs, that amount of money is not going to be better than working. So it's not about the $300 that's keeping people from working. So, Christopher, do you have thoughts about this? Do you want me to get angry again? Where are we at?
I always want you to get angry, but I'll give some thoughts and then I'll let you get angry. Okay. I think that the $300 extra is just a red herring that the GOP is throwing out there because they are idiots and they want to piss people off, right? That's really what a lot of this is, and it caters to their base, who thinks that everybody who's on unemployment or receiving assistance are a bunch of lazy bums. There 100% are some out there. Like, there's some people out there who are like, dude, I'm making enough money right now sitting on unemployment. Like, I don't want to go get a job. There's 100% some people out there. But clearly, these people, I'm going to use that term, these fucking people have never been unemployed, have never had to wonder where what's going to happen next. They've never sat there and applied for 17 jobs only to get one interview and be turned away before you can walk through the door. Obviously, they've never had to worry about where their next meal is going to come from. They've never had to worry about how they're going to feed their fucking family, how they're going to pay their rent, how they're going to not get evicted. Like, it's really, really easy to sit up on high and to make these decisions that impact real people's lives. And clearly, they've never been through the situation. So, yeah, are there a couple people that maybe you could spur back to work a little bit if you took away that little bit of money that, by the way, is helping them fucking survive during a fucking pandemic? Yeah, maybe you could spur some of that. You know what else would fucking do it? Get these fucking people that are trying to hire people to raise their fucking wages a little bit, and people would flock in there, right? Like, let's be honest. If somebody is making more money on unemployment than what they can make working at your job, that's a you problem. That's not a them problem. That's a fucking you problem. What you got, B? You're on mute, man.
I was trying to use my calculator. was trying to do math, but my calculator crashed on me.
Fucking Windows. Blame
right.
Joke.
So if we're doing 370 plus this 300, that's $670 per week, right? So you multiply that times 52. That is a yearly salary before taxes of $34,000 or $34,840. Now, that's not a bad living, right? Because if you divide that back by 52 and you divide that by 40, that would be $16.75 an hour. So not bad, right? If you look at the 370 range, if you divide that by your 40 hours, that's $925. So basically what we're saying, if we want to take away this $300, we're trying to make people have the difference between $925 and like $16 an hour, right? But the biggest thing is, again, I think that what a lot of people are underestimating here is that a lot of these jobs that people are needing, the trade industry, the service industry, there are things that are baked in that people have not realized, or again, put the little thing up to your eyeball that I've done like 4 times in this podcast already. Talk about the service industry. Service industry, pay is often low. Hours really suck. Not convenient for anybody who has kids, has family responsibilities, wants to go to school. Trade industry. You can't just walk into a trade. You got to go to school. What do you have to do to go to school? You have to have money. You got to have time. You got to have initiative to do all of these things. You can't just pull Joe off the street and put him in here as a metal worker. He's got to go get a vocational trade for this. He's got to train for that. Like, the fact that these people are losing out on these employers is because they've done very poor long-term planning. It's not because a majority of people are sitting home on their couch watching Tiger King for the 14th time. Are there probably 5% of people who are doing that?
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I did the math when my employer told us 13 months ago they were going to do furloughs. I did the math because I'm like, you know what? I have a family. I have a wife who's in school right now. We need the money that we can do. So I did the math to figure out, what's our best option here, right? Should I work for my employer half time and lose half of my salary? Or should I tell them, if you got to lay somebody off, do it to me, right? Like, again, it's one of those things where it's like people have to make these real life decisions to support their family.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it seems in the abstract, like you've got a group of people who are purposely trying to hold a group of people down. Like they're trying to keep them down. We don't want the poor people. We don't want the black people. We don't want the disabled people. We don't want them to have a voice. We don't want them to have a say. We don't want them to get ahead. We're going to hold them down. And now that some of these people are maybe trying to get to their knees a little bit, now they want to take that away from them too. And it's just, it's disgusting. It's expected, but it's fucking disgusting.
Well, and again, one of the things that people don't understand about this is maybe people are not using this to sit home. Maybe they're using this income to go to school. Maybe they're trying to, better themselves in some other way that's going to benefit them and their family, but maybe it's not going to benefit the restaurant down the street that's looking to hire a bar back for $2.50 an hour.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of things that play into this, right? There's a lot of things that play into this. And I mean, the long and short of it is taking away the money from these people isn't going to solve issues. All you're going to do is you're going to put people in a worse situation.
Which is what they want. They want people to have to go back into the system that was benefiting.
They're not going to do that though. That's the thing. They're not going to do that. Like if there are people who are using this just to abuse it and get the extra money, sure, maybe that when they take that away, they'll go, okay, fine, I'll fucking go back to McDonald's. Instead, you've got people who, they're probably, I've been somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, that's unemployed, that's doing things on the side. If you're going to give me a couple grand a month and I can still do my thing on the side, which you shouldn't be doing, right? I think it's illegal. But like, if it's going to allow me to take care of myself and my family, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that, And that also ties into the fact that There just aren't jobs that they can afford to do that on legitimately. So there's a lot of things there. The fact that people can't go to school because they can't afford to go to school, or they go to school and they take out loans so that they can afford to go to school, and now they're paying, $900 a fucking month to try to pay that back. They can't afford it. They can't live. So like there's a lot of things here.
Yeah, or they can't go to school because the hours for the classes that they need conflict with this job that is underpaying them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole list of issues here, but I think I can sum this up very easily and just say that the Wisconsin GOP, the wee random dick of the week, of every week. Let's be honest. I'm spinning the wheel. Okay. All right. Let's talk about some Venmo. By the way, chat, my Venmo name is skonzii the Great at _17. I don't know what Venmo usernames look like, so I just made something up.
Well, you'll be able to find out very soon.
Oh, okay.
Because following a mention in the New York Times that President Joe Biden sent his grandchildren money on Venmo, BuzzFeed News was able to search for the president's account using only a combination of the app's built-in search tool and public friends feature. In the process, Biden's account was found and a social network was mapped out that encompassed not only the first family, but a wide network of people around them, including the president's children, grandchildren, senior White House officials, and all of their contacts on Venmo. So, a Venmo spokesperson said, womp, 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 which is basically the safety and privacy of all Venmo users is always a top priority. But critics say that the app makes all transactions public by default, and Venmo's friends lists are arguably a larger privacy issue because even if a user sets their account to make payments private, the friend list will always remain exposed and public as there's no setting to make the information private, which can make it a window into someone's personal life that could be exploited by anyone. So, Skonzii, as someone who is very protective of his privacy interests, do you even have a Venmo?
I do, as a matter of fact. But it's only because I was doing a pay fantasy football league a few years ago, and I was collecting money from people, and one dude wanted to use Venmo, so I am on Venmo. But here's my thought. I'm gonna make this short and sweet because I don't think this is a debatable topic, really. If your quote is, quote, "The safety and privacy of all Venmo users and their information is always a top priority. ... End quote." Oh, actually, I can even add on to that. The safety and privacy of all Venmo users and their information is always a top priority, and we take this responsibility very seriously. End quote. And we'll add to that the fact that you force all of these transactions to default to being public and your friends list is always public. Go fuck yourself. You're full of shit. You don't give a fuck about people's privacy because here's the rub. Either you don't care about privacy or you are a completely incompetent company. Now, neither of those are things that you want labeled on, but those are the only two fucking options that exist. You're incompetent or you don't give a shit. Period. That's it. That's all I got.
And that, everyone here in chat, is the walk-off.
Drop the mic. All right, do we, I don't know how long we've been going because I started the recording so early. Do we want to spin again?
We've been going for 40 minutes.
All right, let's move on to a makeshift last-minute random rankings because B brought it to my attention earlier today that we need to figure out what to do with our random rankings because we finished it last week. That's why over there we got some strange person throwing air punches. I don't know who that person is. All I know is that she probably shouldn't be there. But that's beside the point. That was from last week. So whoever that person is, she won our random rankings. I want to say Amy Poehler. Is that her real name, Amy Poehler, or am I just coming up with some weird name?
I think it is Amy Poehler. Yeah.
Is it? Leslie Nope. That's it. Thank you, Wiggs.
Leslie Nope.
So for those who are here, what we did is we created this huge list of fictional characters and we kind of worked a bracket down to come up with who the winner was, and it was Leslie Nope. So my thought was, well, let's just roll it back up again and do it again with different scenarios. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Let me know. But until then, I saw somebody doing this. Actually, it was a streamer by the name of Tim the Tap Man, who is just a slightly bigger streamer than I am. I average like 4 people on my stream. He averages like 40,000. So, we're close. We're close. But he was doing one of these, and I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. I bet you we could do that. So we're going to see if I can get this set up in the moment. Yeah, here it is. There it is, chat. We're going to create a tier list. And the tier is, because it's the first one I found that I figured me and B could both do without arguing, is fast food. We're going to put fast food in the tier list. Initially, I was going to do, there was NBA GOATs. And I was like, no, we're totally going to fight over NBA GOATs. Like, that's going to be bad. Because we all know.
You'll just be like, Tim Duncan's not like, Tim Duncan, like the green tier's not even enough for Tim Duncan.
No, it's the opposite. The S tier, the top tier, the red tier. That's where Tim Duncan goes all by himself.
Oh, so okay. I thought that the green was like good and then the red was bad.
No, red's top of the heap. Can we add new characters? Yeah, I'm fine with adding new characters, Emily. We can do that. All right. So we are at, I don't think we're actually at 40 minutes. I think we're closer to 30, but either way, let's kind of move through this a little bit on the quicker side. So basically what the tier list is, it kind of lists out, the top is going to be, these are like, it's a tier list, right? Like these are the best, these are the next best, so on and so forth. When you get down to the bottom, then it's kind of like, yeah, you don't want that. So, okay. So should we just start at the beginning and just work through?
I mean, we can't now, we have to set a parameter on this, right? Because there's stuff that's all over the board here. What are we debating? Like, are we debating the restaurant's best item? Are we debating
restaurant as a whole? Like, okay. like the decision is, hey, we're gonna go out and we're gonna get some fast food.
Okay.
Who are you fighting for?
Okay.
So Arby's, where does Arby's fall on your list, B?
Arby's falls at the bottom because you know what happens when I eat Arby's? It comes out of my bottom.
I was gonna put Arby's at the A level, man.
Yes, it comes out of the anus.
All right, well, here, I am going to default. I'm going to give you the edge on this one, which means keep that in mind because I'm going to want it back later. We're going to move it to the C level.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Because, because
those curly fries are delicious.
Yeah, between the two of us, it would be B or C.
If I could just eat the curly fries, I'd be good.
Between the two of us, it would be B or C, and since you are very adamant, we're gonna move it closer to your side, so we're going to go C. How about Burger King?
Ooh. All right, so we got what? A level, B level, C level.
There's
what are
S
my levels
for
here?
The top tier. I don't know what that stands for. Super tier. A, B, C, and D.
I would say Burger King is probably like in that tier below the best because they're just like generally solid overall.
Go with that. I was kind of leaning A or B. And yeah, I'm good with A.
We can always kind of re-juggle some of these once we get some of these placed.
I think the thing, Emily and Wiggum totally disagree with us. Burger King, for me, what sets them apart is the flame broiled flavor of their burgers.
Right.
That's what really sets it apart because none of the other places do that. So if you want that specific thing, that's the only place you can go for that.
Well, and their breakfast is fine. Like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Like, everything there is just good.
Yeah. All right, this is a really weird fast food joint, but I guess it's technically fast food. Little Caesars.
How drunk are you?
I'm not drunk at all right now.
Then it probably goes in, like, the C tier.
That's exactly where I would have put it. If the Little Caesars, when I was growing up, probably before most of y'all's type. I think that when I was growing up, those the crazy bread was next level fucking amazing. It was like to die for. It was so good. If this was the old school Little Caesars, this would be an A on the crazy bread all by itself. That's how freaking good it was. But the crazy bread, the last time I had it, which I haven't had, I've had Little Caesars once in like the last 15 years, literally. And the time that I did have it, crazy bread just wasn't that crazy. So yeah, it's not great. It's better than Arby's, so I'm just saying. How about Carl's Jr.? Are you familiar with Carl's Jr.?
I mean, Carl's Jr. is basically like the bootleg Hardee's, right?
Actually, Hardee's is a bootleg Carl's Jr.
Got you. Well, bootleg of a bootleg, right?
Carl's Jr. is
Potato,
Hardee's.
potato, tomato, tomato.
Wig said it's a D. No, I'm putting them at a solid B.
Okay.
You agree with that?
I mean, they're not really around much anymore, at least in this area, but.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going to make an executive. This is my stream decision right here.
Okay.
It is June 1st. It is the first day of Pride Month. Chick-fil-A is not ending up on this fucking list. Fuck Chick-fil-A. We're not even putting them on the list. They don't even belong there.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Chipotle.
Ooh.
Wait, let me explain. Let me explain for the people that are wondering why. Chick-fil-A is they contribute a lot to anti-LGBT groups. There's probably other places on here that do that as well, but not as many that are as famous or as out there about it, I guess, for a horrible term to use, as Chick-fil-A. So that's enough for me. If you're anti-LGBTQ in that kind of a way, you're gone.
Yep.
But they have great food. Their food is good, but fuck them.
That's why we have all these other options.
That's
here.
right. We don't need to go to Chick-fil-A. Besides, there's Popeyes, and theirs better anyway. Chipotle, what do we got?
Chipotle, I would put like in that B again, like very just solid all around.
I'm kind of leaning A on Chipotle. Emily thinks it's a C.
I mean, I would if you were like, I got to put this in the A, I wouldn't fight you on it. But I was just kind of putting my thing here is like, I'm putting stuff like in B, and then once we get everything in B, like we're gonna fight about B, like what bumps up to A.
Yeah, I'm moving it to A. I'm also thinking Little Caesars might have to move down because I'm seeing there's other pizza joints here, and compared to other pizza joints, it definitely moves down.
Well, like all the other pizza joints might end up in C.
they could. Emily and Old Man Wiggum are not Chipotle fans. All right, what about Domino's Pizza, B?
Again, I think Domino's Pizza just kind of goes in the C. Like it's good, but it's not like of the chains, Domino's is probably my go-to, but that's not saying a whole lot. That's it's yeah.
It kind of makes me want to move Little Caesars down to the D, though. I agree. I agree with Domino's being a C, but like Domino's is better than Little Caesars, though.
All right, then move it. That's fine.
All right, move Caesars down.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Dairy Queen. This is an interesting
Dairy Queen
one.
is in the GOAT. In the GOAT. Done.
Just because of the ice cream?
I mean, their food's fine, but like the ice cream is that like next level. It's in the GOAT. Done.
I think that we got to judge it off that food, though.
The food is good though. Like it's again, when we're talking about fast food, like you're not expecting like amazing food. Like it's a notch down from Culver's, for example. But when you combine the ice cream and the food, it's still in that.
But here's the thing. Let's say it is, if ice cream's not in the equation and it's just, hey, we need to go somewhere and get some food. Do you ever go to DQ before you go to any of these other places?
Yeah.
Because I never would. I would never go to Dairy Queen over any of these places. In part, that's because they don't have a drive-thru, I don't think, and I don't want to get out the fucking car. But the
one by me has a drive-thru.
I would just.
Hey,
never
the one by the place. You're gonna have a drive-thru Dairy Queen.
Oh well, look at that.
It's also kind of a bootleg Dairy Queen. That's kind of like it has like a chili dog.
You're saying I'm moving to a bootleg place?
It has a chili dog instead of like the official Dairy Queen menu flavor.
Oh, nice.
And like in February, they still have pumpkin pie blizzard.
Oh, great. All right, I am going to go with an A. And I'm only going to give you the A because Wiggum says it's an A, Emily says it's an S, you say it's an S. So I'm willing to go with the A. Are you good with that?
That's fine.
Now, this is my first S right here. Five Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Five Guys is legit.
We're not gonna. The fries.
The fries make it an S all by itself, but their burgers are insane too. Yeah, how about In-N-Out? You've had In-N-Out?
I have actually. I went to California once. So.
Okay, so what do you think about In-N-Out?
It's fine. Like I wouldn't put it in the top tier. I wouldn't put it. It's between like the Dairy Queen tier and the middle tier.
Okay, so like a B.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Five Guys, S and A. Okay. Yeah, I had In-N-Out when I went to, where did I go? Phoenix, I think. Yeah, it was when I went to Phoenix for spring training. It was good. I mean, it was pretty good. I think that I for me, and maybe for you too, I think that it's impacted by a lack of familiarity. Like if I had it more often, then maybe it could move up this. I mean, it could move down too, but I think it would probably move up. But based on what I have had, I mean, I think Carl's Jr. is probably better, but I think that's the best place for it.
Okay.
Now, Jack in the Box, I have not ever had. Have you ever had Jack in the Box?
I think so, but I don't remember it. So it definitely isn't in the first two tiers.
Yeah, I think that it defaults to the Chick-fil-A level then. I mean, not that we want to put them on the same level as Chick-fil-A, but you know, we can't really
more
judge
information needed.
Yeah. Wiggum says it's a B or a C, so you know, kind of in and out-ish.
Okay.
How about KFC? Get some chicken.
Ooh. So
no jokes, chat.
I'm gonna go solid like B-ish level, maybe an A, depending.
Oh.
See, I'm not a big, so I don't eat much fast food anymore.
Yeah.
Because you know, you look at me and you still go, man, that's a big dude. But I was a bigger dude at one point.
That's true.
And when I was a big man's, me and my friend used to go to KFC. We used to get that box of the KFC wedges.
Oh, dude.
We each would get a box. We'd eat the whole box.
All right, you just convinced me. KFC's going to the A level. I was good on the B until you started talking about them wedges.
There was a reason that I was a big man at one time in my life.
All right, so this one's going to be interesting, but we got to do the granddaddy of them all here. McDonald's.
C.
Nah, dude, McDonald's is a shit. It's got to be better than the C. Would I have
I'll give you a B, but I'm not going A.
Yeah, I think B is, like, I don't know that I would choose it over Carl's Jr. or In-N-Out. I mean, I wouldn't choose it over Arby's either, really, but I think B is pretty solid. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I mean, I lean towards an A just because of their breakfast. Like, their breakfast is next level.
Okay, see, I can feel confident in the B with the breakfast.
Okay, I'm good with B.
All right.
Panda Express. This is the only Asian Chinese restaurant on the list. For what
I'm
it's
putting
worth.
that down there with like Domino's.
I'm with you. I've only had it once, I think, and it was okay, but it wasn't great. How about Papa John's Pizza?
I think that probably can go safely in the Domino's Papa or Panda tier.
It's like, this is my default right now. Papa's is a D. I definitely disagree with that. This is my
I wouldn't fight you if you put it in the B. I feel like it's a little bland for me, but I'm not going to like fight it. But I would safely put it in the Domino's tier.
Like, what fast food pizza is better?
Jets.
That's not, I wouldn't consider that as like a chain.
Okay.
By the way, I think there's a Jets near the new place.
Yeah, that's the one that I always order from.
Nice. Yeah, I think that Papa John's just by
Papa Murphy's is better, but you have to cook it yourself.
That's true. Like, I would say Topper's is better, even though my body really hates it. But
also
that's on the
bland
list.
to me.
I got to go with an A for Papa John's.
Oh no! We got to put that
John's
in the
got to
B.
be an A.
No, I mean if you're calling your take backsies for Dairy Queen, I will allow it.
So what? DQ has to go to an S?
No, remember when you were like, I'm gonna put it in A? There was one that you gave me, and you're like, I'm gonna want this back later.
That's right.
Was that Chipotle?
I think it might have been Arby's.
Yeah. So are you calling it that you want it back? That you want to raise up? Are you willing to call that in?
No. We'll put it in the B for right now.
Okay.
But I reserve the right to use that as my take back. Pizza Hut is better. I disagree.
Oh,
Old school Pizza Hut, yes. New Pizza Hut, I don't think so. Okay. And that's where we're at. Pizza Hut right now, B.
Pizza Hut is in that like D range. Pizza Hut is
down by Domino or Little Caesars?
Yep.
I was thinking Domino's.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a little greasy for me. I'm not a big fan of the like super greasy pizza.
Okay. I'm not going to argue it. I don't love Pizza Hut. Old Man Wiggum says Pizza Hut's a B. Oh, Pizza Hut is an S for Emily. Wow, we definitely all disagree on Pizza Hut.
So what we're saying is the next time we get together, instead of grilling, we're just going to order like 4 kinds of pizza.
We should.
To taste test.
Historical Gamer says Little Caesars needs a category all to itself for how bad it is.
Well, I asked, how drunk are you? When
Yeah.
you see, I feel like with pizza especially, like the amount of drunkenness that you are, the better that some of these get.
Yeah, no, I agree. We also need like an what would be better than S level, an X level for Lou Malnati's. But let's move on. We've got Popeyes. Now this is only our second chicken place because we fired Chick-fil-A into the sun. So Popeyes, where does Popeyes go on your list, B?
So we put KFC in the A, right?
We did.
I think Popeyes also has to go into A. I feel like they are equivalent. I feel like they're neck and neck.
Agreed, 100%. The Gamer says, I feel like Pizza Hut is as 90s as Blockbuster. For sure, like Pizza Hut 20, 30 years ago was fire. Pizza Hut now, not so much. So Popeyes, yeah. So I have kind of a love-hate with Popeyes. I like their spicy chicken is freaking amazing. The only thing that I would knock them for is the one experience I had when this kind of goes back to your how drunk were you thing. So maybe I was slightly inebriated and I went to Popeyes and I got their red beans and rice. I love fucking red beans and rice. And it was just horrible. Like it was soup. It was so runny. It was fucking soup. And I'm like, this is, you know what? I mean, I still ate it, but I wasn't very happy with it. So that's the only slight I got on them. But back when I used to work with Historical Gamer, well, I still work with Historical Gamer, but when we worked together at the old office, I routinely would make the drive to Popeyes during my hour-long lunch. Keep in mind, it was a half-hour drive one way, so basically it was sprint as fast as I can down the street to get my Popeyes and sprint as fast. Well, I wasn't running, but driving fast as I could both ways, just so I can get back in time, and then then I'd have a meeting with like Gamer or something, and I'd be eating my chicken. But anyway, I digress. I've been talking too much. How about Sonic, B?
Sonic is like in that solid like B, I think.
And that's kind of where I put it. It's good, but it's not special.
It's nostalgic. Like people like it because it's kind of that old timey, like the old. This is like I'm waiting for somebody to come out and give me food with roller skates on.
Right,
but that
right.
doesn't actually happen.
And as somebody who now has a new car, well, newish, like I don't want to eat in my fucking car. Are you serious? Like, no. I'll take it to go though. Historical Gamer called me out for admitting to breaking the law live. I mean, come on, it happens.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Oh, Sonic breakfast burritos are fire. Okay, I've never had their breakfast.
Okay.
Never had their breakfast. How about Subway?
So, see,
this is going to be an interesting one.
Subway. I used to love Subway. Then there was a point in time where a lovely person in my life put Subway on the vendetta list.
Oh boy.
But now Subway is no longer on the vendetta list.
Oh God.
So we've actually been eating Subway a little bit again.
Okay.
I don't think it's GOAT. I really don't. But I would be comfortable putting it in either the A or the B tier. Okay. I know that you love Subway, so I'm going to let you call your shot here. Call your shot is open, Christopher.
There's a lot of people that say Subway is really good. I really do like Subway. I don't know if I would put it on the S level, though.
I wouldn't put it on the S level, but I think I'm okay with it being on the A or the B.
You know what? I'm so close to putting on that S, B.
Are you going to take your take back for Subway?
Would I get Subway instead of Burger King, Chipotle? I mean, Dairy Queen shouldn't be an A anyway. KFC and Popeyes? Oh. You know what? I'm just going to stick it on the A. I don't know that I can really push it up there to the S. I don't know that I can do that.
Okay.
How about Taco Bell?
So here's the funny part about Taco Bell. I think the last time that I had Taco Bell was when I was a college student at my former university. But I think Taco Bell belongs on the A level.
I mean, part of me says Taco Bell belongs on the F level. It doesn't exist.
I mean, it flows right through you.
I was gonna say it kind of belongs on the D level if you get my drift. But
yeah.
Yeah, I think if you get Taco Bell, it's because you want Taco Bell. It's not that you want Chinese food. It's not that you want good food. It's not that you want Taco Bell. It's
you
its
want
own thing.
10 tacos that you can eat in one sitting.
That's right. And you want to get the Doritos Locos one. Not that I've ever done that.
And you're going to get a taco that was prepared by somebody, and 3 of your tacos don't have lettuce on them because they forgot the lettuce. And then 4 of your tacos are just going to be sour cream because, right? But
all right, where did you put Taco Bell?
I was going to put it on the A with Subway and all the cluster in A.
I don't like it on A.
B?
I think B I could deal with.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, Taco Bell's a B. There are times when I think Taco Bell is the most variable on this list.
It is.
Because it's really one of those where it's if I want pizza, I'm not going to say, oh, I really want Domino's or I really want Papa John's. I'm going to feel I want pizza. What pizza joint do I feel like today? But Taco Bell is I want fucking Taco Bell. That's the only thing. And that's why you go there.
Right.
All right. So we've got Wendy's.
Wendy's. I wish there was a level between A and B because I feel like Wendy's is between Burger King and McDonald's. It's better than McDonald's, but I think it's worse than Burger King.
Yeah, I think it goes on the B level. I agree. I think the only thing that leaves McDonald's on this level, because I would even think about moving it down, but I think the breakfast is what puts it up there on that level.
Yeah, I would say the only that's one of those things where we need this the Wendy's is the 4A player of this bracket, right? Because I don't feel like we can move Burger King up to the GOAT, which would then allow us to put Wendy's on A level.
I would agree. Historical Gamer says there's a 0 chance Burger King is better than Wendy's because Burger King is trash. I would just like to allow my friend to respond to you.
Wrong.
All right, so we got White Castle, B.
I am going to Little Wiggum. You are a friend. But White Castle is 100% going in the C, baby.
Oh. Oh man, Wiggum's gonna lose his shit. White Castle. You know what? I agree with you. I think we're gonna go White Castle in the C.
Oh, Wiggum is gonna be so mad.
Yeah, he's gonna disown us. But yeah, I think that's the best spot. All right, so let's go ahead and let's review and see where we're at. So we have trash list. No Culvers because that wasn't on the list here.
These are all national chains.
Yeah. Emily has not had the pleasure of White Castle. Well, you should do it sometime.
Pleasure.
Just make sure that you're not planning on leaving the house for the next 12 hours. So on the S level, we've got Five Guys. The A level, we got Burger King, Chipotle, Dairy Queen, KFC, Popeyes, and Subway. On the B level, we have Carl's Jr., In-N-Out, McDonald's, Papa John's, Sonic, Taco Bell, and Wendy's. The C level is Arby's, Domino's, Panda Express, and White Castle. And the D level is Little Caesars and Pizza Hut. What do you think, B? Anything you want to really argue with? Old Man Wiggum apparently wants to argue with everything.
I mean, I kind of like this, right? I feel like the bottom 2 tiers are good. I feel like we could probably, even if we wanted to clear out some of those middle tiers, we could move the, what is that, I can't read that one that looks like a boomerang, but like
In and out.
in and out. Like we could move that one down to like clear out that tier a little bit. But I don't have any disagreements with this. The only question I have for you is, do we want to move anything from A into the GOAT tier now that we know what's in A, or are we good with only having the one?
No,
S
is there anything that you feel passionate about moving up there?
No, I mean, again, I think that all of these are good where they are, but I just wanted to ask the question.
I mean, if we want to do something, I mean, I'm okay putting Subway up there. No, I'm not, because, you know, Subway just, like, I really like Subway, but I don't know that I'd ever put it up there in the S level.
No, like, so this is the thing. If somebody came to you with a sheet and said, you can order any of these, we probably would pick Five Guys. If somebody took away Five Guys and said, you can order anything from this next level, I think I would be okay with any of those choices, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of how I'm looking at this list, where it's like, if I could order anything from this top level or below, I probably would pick one of those 5 restaurants, right? Like that's kind of how I'm thinking about this.
Yeah. Hey, this is pretty good. Emily had a good idea. I like her idea. It says that we should each fill these out independently, and then we should compare them on the podcast.
Oh,
I kind of like that. That might be a good way to do it in the future.
Yeah.
But for now, this is what we've got. And with that, as much as everybody disagrees with us, we are going to move on and have Brian talk about his extra point.
Hello, everyone. So it is time for my extra point. As Skonzii said, we are now into summer. Today was that first work day back after the Memorial Day holiday. You know, it was stressful. It was hectic. But now we've been able to spend this Tuesday night together watching wrestling, talking about stuff. And now we are here for the extra point. I greatly appreciate this time that we get to spend together each week. I also greatly appreciate the time that I hopefully will get to spend with some or all of you in person in the future. It was really nice this weekend to see people, like real, actual people. You know, I was still outside. I was still doing stuff with people who are vaccinated and being safe, but we're turning a corner, and that's really cool. So I would say for every time that you're super stressed out and your back hurts and your neck hurts and you're just feeling the stress of the world, step away for a minute and take care of yourself. That's what I did today. I worked a long day, and then I made sure that I could go for my walk, stretch my body out, and then I came here to spend this evening with you all. And I appreciate it. So take care of yourself. I think that's our message every week, and we're going to keep telling you that because it's fucking important. And I cussed just for you, old man Wiggum.
What you gonna do? All right. I am going to talk. I'm also going to tell you to take care of yourself, but I also got to work on the thing down here because it's not right. So I'm going to talk about a story that that we didn't get to. It's one that got put on late. So we might keep it on the list for next week, but it's very, very topical. So I wanted to make sure to talk about it. The French Open is going on right now. It's a big tennis tournament on clay, which is really weird, but yeah, French Open. It's one of the Grand Slam tournaments. And the number 2 women's ranked player, I believe, has dropped out of the tournament. Just left. She mentioned on the run up to the French Open that she wasn't going to do the news conferences. She said that it's very taxing on her mental health. She struggles with depression and a lot of different mental health issues. And it's super draining to her. And she said she wasn't going to do it. Well, the French Open told her, yeah, you're going to do that because you are required to. That's part of your requirements to be in this tournament. So when she didn't go to the interviews after her first round match, they fined her $50,000. And in return, she said, goodbye. Now, the reaction to this has been all over the board. I'm sure you know exactly how I'm feeling and how Brian would feel as well. There's a lot of people that I'm seeing talking about, you know what, you're spoiled and the press is what allows you to make all that money and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Athletes are people. we're seeing all sorts of shit happening in the NBA playoffs here in the last week or so, where people are getting bottles thrown at them and popcorn thrown at them and people running on the court. There's all kinds of crazy shit happening. And there's this entitlement that fans have that we just need to get the fuck over. You know, this Aaron Rodgers thing that's been happening for a month or two. Like, everybody's watching his every fucking move, and we want to see what he's going to do. And, you know, we're getting bitchy about him. And, well, why the fuck are you in Hawaii when you could be at these practices? You know what? Let him, he's a fucking person. Let him do what he's going to do. And for God's sake, if anybody has earned the opportunity to take a honeymoon in fucking Hawaii, I think it's that guy, right? Anyway, getting back to Naomi Osaka, I think the important thing in here, and why I champion this woman left and right, is that this, I mean, who knows? She might have won the French Open. This could have been a huge payday for her. It could have been a huge spotlight for her, but she stuck to her guns. She said, this is not okay. She said, this is not good for my mental health. And she said, I'm going to walk away. And it could have lasting negative impacts to her and her career going forward. I suspect it probably won't. There's a lot of people really championing her and lifting her up because of this. Obviously, my voice means nothing in the whole grand scheme of things, but I'm doing the same thing because I think this is a really good thing that all of us need to keep in mind. And can I tell my boss that I quit my job tomorrow because it's not good for my mental health? Well, you know, not so much, because, you know, then I'd be that person collecting the extra $300 a week in unemployment. That wouldn't be enough for me. But I think that we all need to really carefully watch our mental health. We've been saying that for quite a while. We talked about it for the last year specifically because of the whole pandemic. But even as we're coming out of this, we have to be very, very cognizant of that. We have to make sure that we're very mindful and watchful on where our mental health is. And when you need that time to step away, take that time to step away. Whatever it may be, take a weekend vacation, take a week off like Emily is doing. Not that she needs it for mental health reasons, but she's taking a week off. B is going on vacation in a week or so. Use the time that, if that's what you need to do, go out and see family, go for a run, whatever you need to do. If you find your mental health is in a place where you need to just step the fuck away, make sure you take the time to do that, because nothing else is more important. It's really that simple. That's what I got, B.
That's a good point. And I think it's really important to think about this. So as a quick outro, think about how people treated running back Ricky Williams versus how this situation is being treated, right? Like, people did not understand or acknowledge mental health when Ricky Williams was playing in a way that it's acknowledged now. So I think that's good. Like, we've come a long way that people are understanding that, like, this line of questioning and all of these things can have a profound impact on someone's mental health. And that's good.
Yeah.
And we, as mental health advocates, are here for this. And we're also here for you, loyal listener, loyal viewer. And you can find me on Twitter at LandmarkMKE. You can find Christopher over there on Twitter at skonzii. You can also find Christopher on Amazon Sidewalk. You can find the podcast on your favorite podcast app. Just search for We Random. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, Almost Qualified Productions. You can find Skonzii on YouTube. Don't look for the guy that's not the purple guy smoking a cigar, though, because that guy is not our Skonzii. We heart our Skonzii, so make sure you look for that guy. So, any other things you want to tell the people before we bid them adieu for their first Tuesday?
No, I got nothing, man. I think we're good. But thank you all for being here. Appreciate that.
So I have something just for you people. I will be gone the next 2 weeks because, as Christopher said, I am going on vacation. So stay tuned. We may have a guest podcast host who will probably be sexier than me, but maybe not. Or we might take 2 weeks off from the podcast. Who knows? You got to click that follow button on Skonzii's Twitch, and then you'll find out.
That's right. Or check out those socials.
Yep.
Cool. That's all I got, B. You got anything else?
Nope. I just want to say thank you. We love you, and have a great rest of your week, everybody.
I'm good with that. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Dance is my favorite part.